So Baker Mayfield has been traded by the Cleveland Browns to the Carolina Panthers. What does this now mean for Jimmy Garoppolo? Because the Panthers, a team that showed some interest in Jimmy Garoppolo throughout the offseason, and now there is one team left that could trade for Garoppolo. Is it going to be Cleveland? Could a deal happen? We're talking about all of that on today's show. This is the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. So it was Ian Rappaport who broke the news here on Wednesday afternoon that Baker Mayfield is getting dealt to the Panthers. The former number one pick out of Oklahoma had a really good 2020 in helping end the Browns' playoff drought. Last year was a disaster because of injuries. And then back several months ago, throughout the heat of NFL free agency, Deshaun Watson traded from the Texans to the Browns, which really spelled the end of the Baker Mayfield era in Cleveland. So Rappaport saying this: Panthers are acquiring Baker Mayfield from the Browns for a 2024 conditional fifth-round draft pick. Sources tell me and Tom Pelissero the deal is pending a physical. We know that Baker Mayfield coming off that shoulder surgery. All parties split the financials in order to make it happen. So you look at the trade details right here. Browns receive that 2024 conditional fifth-round pick, and the Panthers receive Baker Mayfield. This is important for a couple of reasons pertaining to the San Francisco 49ers, because we know that Garoppolo has a cap hit in 2022 of $26.9 million. So an acquiring team might have to eat some of his salary in order for that trade to happen. But also what's of note is that the Browns receive a conditional fifth-round pick for a guy who's more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo, has more of a pedigree in terms of a quarterback prospect as compared to Jimmy G. So what would the Niners at this point even be able to get back for Garoppolo, who's been injured, who's somewhat physically limited in terms of his arm strength as compared to Baker, and like I said, doesn't have that potential that Baker has, because Baker was the number one overall pick, a Heisman Trophy winner, and Garoppolo has really just been a middle of the NFL type of pack quarterback. This also coming from Mike Garafolo, NFL Network. The Browns will pay Baker Mayfield $10.5 million this season, which means they trimmed over $8 million in cash and salary with their cap space. The Panthers will pay Mayfield $5 million, which is really a good deal when you think about it. If he taps into his fullest potential and he lives up to those expectations, Mayfield agreed to trim $3.5 million off his base salary. And now with Carolina, they're not going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, and it's going to be Baker Mayfield who is going to have an opportunity to lock down that starting role, because he's going up against a guy in Sam Darnold who is inferior. Baker Mayfield is the better quarterback. He's had more NFL success, and moving forward, this could be the franchise guy in Carolina if he plays like he did in 2020 as compared to 2021. Now, we're about to really dive into what this means for Garoppolo, San Francisco, and if a deal could happen sending Jimmy G to the Cleveland Browns. First, though, I want to hear from you in the comment section right now. Your one-word reaction to the Baker trade. Let me know right now. For me, once I saw the tweet note come through, I said Jimmy, because this impacts Jimmy Garoppolo. Now let's explore this a little bit further, right? What does this mean for Jimmy G? The Browns are the only team left. You can throw out the Seattle Seahawks, there's no doubt about that. And if an injury happens with another team in the National Football League, maybe they make a play for Garoppolo, who, like I said, is about 15 range as far as all starting quarterbacks in the NFL, has won 71% of his games, 2 NFC championship games over the last 3 years, and a Super Bowl appearance. But really, the Browns are the only team left. So the dominoes could start to fall with the Deshaun Watson legal case. And if Deshaun Watson gets suspended, is Jimmy G the go-to guy for Cleveland? And with that Super Bowl roster, are they going to make a play for Garoppolo to try to trade for him? I am not sold on the fact that the Browns are going to move forward with Jacoby Brissett. You stack up Brissett with Jimmy G. I understand that some Niner fans think that Garoppolo has been average. He's turned the football over at inopportune times. He has, but he's a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. The numbers show that. The consistency shows that. Garoppolo's winning percentage, winning 71% of his starts with San Francisco over 5 years, certainly backs that up, and the fact that he's helped lead the Niners on a couple of deep playoff runs. So Jimmy G is the better quarterback than Brissett, and the Cleveland Browns have the most cap space in the NFL. They just cleared more money now by trading away Baker Mayfield. That's why acquiring Jimmy G, if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for, let's say, the entire 2022 campaign, makes a lot of sense. You also look at the Browns quarterback depth chart. Outside of Jacoby Brissett, let's just axe Deshaun Watson off the list right here. Brissett would move into that quarterback 1 role. Josh Dobbs as the number 2. This is why Garoppolo makes a lot of sense to Cleveland, on top of the fact that Cleveland is really the only realistic destination left that could trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, as we continue to break this down, want to pause to tell you to subscribe to the channel. We here at the 49ers Report, yours truly, pushing out videos every single day. When news happens, when breaking news happens, we have you covered. When there's a juicy rumor out there, yeah, we're going to break it down. We do live shows every single week, and when the season comes around, training camp right around the corner, we're going to continue to increase our coverage, so make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below. Now, if the Browns don't trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, what's going to happen for him, and is he going to be on this Niners roster? Will San Francisco just outright release him, considering he would be by far and away the most expensive backup quarterback in the league with that aforementioned cap hit of $26.9 million? I think it's become apparent, I think it's become clear that the starting quarterback role is in the grasp of Trey Lance right now, with less than 3 weeks to go until training camp. He got all of the reps throughout OTAs, he got all of the reps throughout minicamp, and in the process, he was able to impress a lot of people, the coaching staff as well as the players. And I think there's something to be said for Trey Lance suffering that finger injury last year, which is what caused some of the problems that have raised some concerns about Lance moving forward. The wobbly football, the awkward release, and the inaccuracy. But what we saw throughout the offseason for Lance, he was able to improve that accuracy. He was able to really work out some of the flaws within his mechanics. He looked a little bit more accurate and precise with the football throughout minicamp and OTAs. And if that translates over to training camp as well as the preseason, there's no way in the world while Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco should or would start Garoppolo over Trey Lance, considering everything they gave up to move up to number 3 to take him in the 2021 NFL Draft and all of the potential that Lance has. 6'4", 225 with a really strong arm. He can complete any throw on the football field, and he adds a different dimension to this offense that Garoppolo didn't have, on top of, I think, the offense taking a step in terms of throwing the football downfield and being more explosive. That is the running threat. That is just the overall extending of plays in the pocket. That's what Lance can do that Garoppolo cannot, and that's why I think the Niners offense in 2022 can be better than it was last year, even though they made a run to the NFC Championship for the second time in 3 years. Will Jimmy G get traded at all, or will he be on this roster? Will he get cut? I'm fielding all of your responses down below. What say you? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've been so busy with all of our NBA content and coverage here at Chat Sports, but when this news came across the wire, I had to get on the mic. I had to get on camera to chop it up with the Niner gang and chop it up with the faithful, because this is what we do here on the 49ers Report. When I say that we're pushing out videos basically every single day, we got to back that up. Make sure you turn on those notifications as well, because with training camp less than 3 weeks away, like I said, we'll be pushing out multiple videos per day going live, and you don't want to miss it. As for Baker's career stats, you look at him right here, I think he's more the player that we saw in 2020 as compared to 2021. I mean, he was beaten, he was battered, he was beat up, and it looked as though he lost his confidence last year. If he's able to give to Carolina what he gave the Browns in 2020, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with a complimentary cast around him, really good running game, and a solid defense, which is what the Panthers have, and I actually think an underrated coaching staff, even though Matt Rule is on the hot seat, then this deal will end up being a pretty good one for Cleveland. You look at the details one more time, the Browns receiving a conditional 5th-round pick back for Baker Mayfield. It wasn't long ago that they used the number 1 pick in the NFL draft to take Baker. And a few years later, they trade for Deshaun Watson. They're not sure if he's going to play, and they trade away Baker Mayfield. And right now, their quarterback 1 without Deshaun Watson is Jacoby Brissett. That's why the door is open for Garoppolo. But you look at the details right here, maybe this is something in terms of the package that the Niners can get back for Jimmy G, although if it wasn't for the shoulder surgery and all the quarterback movement, would have been ideal to get a second or third round pick. So before we get out of here, I want to hear from you. Grade the trade, A, B, C, D, or F, and relay any more thoughts you have on Garoppolo, Baker, maybe a trade of Garoppolo to Cleveland. Let me know in the comment section, and thanks for watching today's show.